Before starting the run, prepare the Player 2 controller. This is used for a cutscene skip that will happen in the hub before Chapter 6. Any file can be used for this category, however, if the strat is found that makes quitting the title and entering again worth it, the top file would be optimal as to avoid navigating the menu to a lower file. Put stealth off on the portal, then start the run. For mashing cutscenes in this game, you can either use your left index finger on the nunchuck. However, I prefer using my right middle finger because I have better mashing ability to sort of jitter my finger on the C button and getting a bit of a faster mash, but do whatever feels comfortable for you. First, you'll just roll across the bridges and convert your defense. Again, you probably don't want to be rolling it into the corner, but before getting to this wooden fence, you want to attack prior to colliding with it, as you want to preserve momentum. So I was able to attack it and then immediately start rolling to get towards the camera. A note that in full game 90% glitchless, these cutscenes in Chapter 1 aren't really skippable. Most of them you have to wait for the text to go by, so I just sort of waited out. But if you're doing IL practice, the cutscenes aren't there, so if I end up swapping the recording to doing an IL just for faster demonstration for this video, that's why, but you can't mash the cutscenes really. Then you want to roll towards the front of the camera, then roll towards the wall immediately before shooting it. And this is so you can preserve your rolling momentum while the camera pans towards the rock wall. So you roll over to the camera, I'm kind of standing near the camera, kind of the cannon right in front of it, and then you want to roll and then shoot. So you get the roll momentum during the cutscene as it's shooting the rock wall. So now Stealth Elf is all the way over here rather than me being over here as I shoot the cannon. Next, you want to roll towards the key, ensuring you slide into it and collect it during the cutscene. Kind of like I'll point out the visual indicator for where this cutscene sort of starts. So this wooden plank that goes from kind of this section to here, where I'm walking back and forth, is about where the cutscene trigger will start. So you want to get your rollout slightly before this so that you can get into the key and preserve your rolling momentum to collect it. After the cutscene, you'll roll over to the gate to unlock it, and then roll over on the right side, shoot this cannon, grab the key, and roll to this key gate.
Oh, quel bonheur que les Skylanders soient ici. J'espère que vous êtes nombreux. On a un tas de problèmes ici.
For this next cutscene, you'll want to do rolls such that you are able to push the turtle during the cutscene, so you don't have to do it while the game is actually playing. The setup I do for this is I do a little bit of a walk, and then I do rolls in order to sort of move towards the turtle and then push it during the cutscene. Find a cue that works for you. I can actually roll back there to show about what I'm doing. So when you're here, you kind of want to walk around to where this rock wall is, so you're standing kind of in between it, and then you get the 3 rollouts. And then the cutscene will trigger and the momentum will carry you to this turtle. Now for some generally applicable tech. Whenever you're pushing turtles, blocks, or any similar objects, you can perform a trick known as a snapback. If you hold the control stick while pushing these objects, you do a bit of a push animation and stop moving before you regain control. So, this might actually warrant looking at the hand cam. So if I'm just holding the direction, I push the turtle. However, by flicking the stick back and forth, you can cancel this animation and gain control faster. This takes about half a second every time you do it successfully, but there's a lot of turtle pushes over the course of the run, and it adds up if you're able to get a lot of them. If you're too late, you'll just do the normal animation, but if you're too early, you won't get to push it all, and you need to attempt pushing it again. Getting this timing down takes practice, and you'll build consistency over time, and you can feel free to incorporate them as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. Obviously, the more you perform them, and the more consistent you are, the better it is. So, I'll try to do it now. So, what you saw there was interesting, actually. I did that slightly too early, but I was able to push it back in such a way where I didn't really lose time. So I'll try to do it early here. Actually, that was just entirely successful. The timing's pretty tight, so it's really just down to a feel thing. But you can see that I was able to push the turtle and immediately start moving again. Whereas if I just hold, it does this full push animation. Let me trigger the spin cutscene to show a bit more turtle stuff. Ideally, you want to get every single snapback. There are some exceptions where you don't necessarily need to go for it, due to just how the level plays out. So there, I tried to flick it back, but I pushed it too late, meaning that I actually couldn't get the snapback. So it ended up just pushing the turtle normally, but it's okay. I can try it again. So that time was too early. I flicked back slightly too early, and I didn't push the turtle at all. Same there. I'm actually able to get it consistently early. But that was a successful one where I was able to push back and immediately start moving again. When you do those, you generally want to do a rollout immediately afterwards, because that's your fastest form of movement. But here I'm just kind of demonstrating how that works. After you push these turtles, this one cutscene will trigger. I had to trigger it to show what's going on here. You want to bounce from the first bounce pad to the second, and then use a B attack to get to the fourth, rather than using the third. So playing this normally, you would just kind of bounce on these bounce pads 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to bounce up there because I'll trigger an exception. But the way you want to do this is use your B attacks to gain a bit of momentum to launch you towards the next. So the B attack is just using B and then using A to so you get kind of this momentum boost. So as a visual difference, if I bounce off this bounce pad and then bounce here, you can kind of see it looks a little like that. Whereas if I use the B into A attack, I land on the bounce pad faster. Like that. Again, you want to skip this third bounce pad, so rather than coming up here and bouncing to the fourth, what you'll do is you'll use the same B into A attack technique to bounce from the second to the fourth. So you can clear the ledge and make it all one. So doing that again, B into A to the second bounce pad, and then B into A to get to the fourth, skipping the third. If you don't feel comfortable going for this skip, just take the third pad regularly. It's not a huge time loss, but this trick isn't too bad, so give it a little bit, try it out, and see what you can do. Next, you'll just bounce off the pad. You can skip this cutscene with Flynn, in this level that you can. Then you'll roll over here to the monster gate, and you'll start the chompy section. Note in this arena that only 5 chompies can be in the arena at any given time, so be sure to kill them quickly. They spawn at a regular interval at semi-random positions, so do your best to ensure the final kill allows you to quickly get out of the gate. Whether this is an attack further away from the gate into a roll, or a roll that deals damage and then can also get you out. I personally like to keep an eye on the count once I make it past 10, as the further you make it into this monster gate, the more quickly they spawn. So past 10 is kind of the sweet spot for getting ready to get out of this area. We'll wait for blobbers to stop talking. You can skip the cutscene that introduces the chompies. And you just want to keep an eye on where they're spawning. So I'm, keeping my eyes peeled, just using a standard attack. 1A button suffices. They don't really have much health. So, not a huge problem. So now I'm at 9 and at 10, so they're going to start spawning in a little bit more quickly. At the very end there, you saw that there was a chompy that came in. I was able to use my roll to deal damage. and that allowed me to preserve that roll momentum into leaving the arena, making it a little bit quicker. Then you'll want to roll up this stone walkway. I think actually, yes, I will. So here is sort of a weird cutscene related thing. There's some weird cutscenes in this game that will behave differently depending on how you enter them. We don't understand why it happens this way, but let's deal with it. You want to roll up the stone walkway, but you don't want to enter the final area until Blobbers makes it partially up the stairs. So I'll try to point it out. So I'll roll out a little bit, and I'll try to pause. Keep an eye out for Blobbers. He will sort of rotate. He's walking up the stone walkway, and then will rotate right. Once he rotates right, then you're able to roll into this section. So he rotated right, now I can roll into this section to skip the cutscene. If you do it too early and you roll before he sort of does that rotation, Blobbers will talk. The Blobbers cutscene will happen while you're playing the game, which you think would be faster, but you're not able to actually make any meaningful progress in this section until that cutscene's over. So wait for him to make it a little bit, rotate, and then make your way up. Rather than pushing this turtle, you can just roll over here, and this little ledge here, you can just walk across. There's just a little bit of ground there, just enough for you to be able to make your way across. Can be a little finicky, like I did there, I walked off. You're not going to be walking back, you're just walking forward. If you just hold the direction, you kind of just hold up left here, you can make it. But for whatever reason, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can just push in the turtle and give yourself a walk. Like at the beginning of the level, you want to roll away from the cannon as you're shooting it, so you can again preserve that momentum, and then you can get to the key a little bit faster. So I'll actually do this as if I'm coming in. So I would walk along this. Actually, that was a little quick. So I would walk along this, roll away from the cannon, and then use the bounce pad to get over here to grab the key. And then I would go and look. Do it one more time. So walk along that, roll with the cannon. You can use the B attack to get a little bit more momentum to grab the key faster. And then you can actually use that momentum to swing around and get to the key gate a little bit faster. So as you do the B attack, you can sort of flick yourself around and carry that momentum to the key gate. And then you unlock the gate to complete the level. So that is the end of Chapter 1.
C'est l'heure. Bonjour, jeune maître du portail. Moi et on... Utilise la commande d'action. Prends la clé, maître du portail. Utilise... Ton Skylander a besoin d'une clé pour ouvrir. Pousse la tortue. Utilise les commandes d'attaque pour battre les chompis.